Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Energy Unleashed podcast with Suzanne and Kim. Hey,
Hello. I don't even know how to say hello anymore. I need to come up with a new line. Hey, everybody.
there you go. That
No,
works.
that's not it.
You can practice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we thought we'd do something a little bit different just to mix it up. There's a lot of mayhem and chaos in the world right now, and sometimes it just is, I don't know, feels kind of like overwhelming. And we recently did a podcast on tools and spiritual tools. So we thought we would do that together today. I asked Kim to just grab one of her decks, and I randomly grabbed one of mine. And I think it would be fun for us to just do a random pull. And we will each see what we get, and then kind of let's just give our perspective on how that relates to what we're dealing with right now. Okay? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah,
Like
that
just
would be
pull one and
totally.
see. All
Yeah.
right, what deck did you grab?
I grabbed the Sacred Earth Oracle.
I love that one. I have that.
Yeah.
That is one of the most beautiful art
Just
decks.
pretty.
Yes.
The
I
cards
mean,
are
that's
so beautiful in here. I really love it.
crazy good art.
Yeah.
I actually grabbed one that I haven't used for a really long time. I know we talked about Kyle Gray on one of our ones, but this is another Kyle Gray one that I have.
Oh, Divine Masters.
Yeah, and it's so alien looking. I thought that that was a really fun one. And I don't use this very often, which is funny. So I figured, oh, what the heck? So did you pull one already?
Well, I did for myself, but I didn't pull one for this.
Okay, so let's pull. We're going to pull at the same time, see if one flies out of this deck. And
Okay.
like I said, our take on this, everybody's take is different when you use cards. I mean, right? I mean, it's not about who's right and who's wrong. And all righty.
No.
Oh, I love this guy. I get him often. Okay, I'm actually going to put my specs on for this because I
Yeah.
want to be able to read the book. Um, This guy, I actually this deck has a lot of like Ascended Masters in it, and I think that that's always super fun too. And the Ascended Masters, in my opinion, are very, very prominent right now. I think that they're coming through the veil very heavily for people to get messages, support, guidance, all of that. And oftentimes we forget about ascended masters. They truly were people on earth. Sometimes they have reincarnated several times to do different jobs. But this particular guy comes to me often, like a lot when I pull him,
Really?
not in this deck, but in several decks. I have the Ascended Masters deck from Doreen Virtue back in the day when she did those great
I'm
decks. And
I'm
then
trying
I
to
have,
think
huh?
of who it would be. Is it oh gosh, no, you're just gonna have to tell me. I don't think it is.
That's okay. But I pulled him in three different decks at least. And so he must be something for me in terms of like a guide because I've had him often. Okay. I don't even know if I say his name right.
Oh,
Can you see him?
yeah,
So Kathumi,
something like
I have
that. But yeah,
him.
I would never have guessed that one.
I have him often.
Really?
But he's kind of cute.
Well, it kind of looks like Jesus, so I'm
He
curious.
looks very Jesus-like, which is funny
Yeah.
for me, right? All right, pick yours and then we'll go back and forth with
Okay.
messaging.
So I got
Unknown.
consistency.
Oh man, that's gorgeous. Put it
Isn't
up
that
a little
pretty?
higher.
Little
Raise
hair.
it. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, that's
Back a little
beautiful.
bit. There we go.
The artwork on that thing, that deck is just great.
Oh my gosh. It is
That's
so pretty.
gorgeous.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in there. Okay.
That deck is a really great one, in my opinion, where I used to use that for teaching as well in terms of like doing reads. You can go into those cards in that particular deck and read the picture as well as just go to the book and read the true message because there's so much going on in those art pieces that you can like pull it out and make it your own. It's
So
a
this
really
is
good
in
deck.
well, like you're right because look at I mean there's
Yeah.
birds, but there's
Yep.
also aquatic life
Yep.
down in the corner, the fish and all the things with the sunshine.
That's the kind of artwork that has layers and layers and layers. And so for a tarot read, it's really cool to just go into that and make it your own. So I
Mhm.
encourage people not always just to read the book, but for this particular thing, we can. Kathumi is about initiatory experiences. Using your current situation is initiating your gifts. And now we're relating it to what's happening in the world today. So Master Katumi or Kut Humi is how you say it, or Kut Humi also known simply as KH, was one of the original ascended masters of Theosophy. His name is a pseudonym given to protect his identity of a highly influential man from the Punjab region who is also known to have encouraged Maharaja of the time to reclaim his spiritual path. Now he is the keeper of the golden ray of wisdom, a divine energy that can be invoked to help us tune into the mysteries of the universe. Kutumi is an evolved soul working closely with the earth and appears to anyone who is ready to move forward on their spiritual path. This divine master acts as a spiritual doorkeeper, somewhat like an energetic bouncer. I love that. Holding space so those embarking on the spiritual path can enter a deep transcendent state and be protected from low vibration. So I think he comes to me a lot to literally keep that vibrational frequency level for me because of my
Mhm.
work. And I have, like I said, come across him very, very many times. So the message he's giving today for this time period in our world is this is a time to take your intentions, plans, and gifts to the next level. It is time to stop playing small and think beyond where you are now. If you have held back on dreams, intentions, plans, allow yourself to start moving forward toward the life you want for yourself. Cosmic energy is surrounding you now, holding sacred space for you to delve deep into yourself in order to uncover gifts, talents, abilities, and more. The situation that you are moving through is very important for your life path. Know that any limitations, challenges, or fears that are rising up are opportunities for you to fully show up and shine. Be aware that adversity is actually an opportunity to learn and teach. Know that there are no mistakes in the events that are unfolding. Instead, there is a sacred plan based on prayer, intention, visions that you have for yourself and your life and your spiritual path. So I'm going to unleash this one and then we'll have you do yours and unleash yours and then we're going to combine this together. But I
Mhm.
think that is a really cool card in terms of especially the part of be aware of adversity, knowing that everything is on the right path. I think right now when people are feeling so out of control with our government situation, with what's happening and so many decisions that we feel we're not in control of, we can get really scared and depressed and fear for what's happening for our world. I cannot tell you how many friends, family, and clients are freaking out that this is the worst time we've ever experienced and blah, blah. And when I hear that, it concerns me because of the way that we're putting that message into the collective
Mhm.
field. And these kinds of messages are very important. And that's why we did the tools a bit ago, I think it was about a week ago, to oftentimes remind us that there's another side to that paradigm. We are in a dualistic polarity situation and we control those timelines and those narratives with what we're feeding into it. And these kinds of messages can help us if we choose to paradigm shift and put back into the collective what's really, really also available to us as co-creators. And I think that is a larger plan for us. And the larger plan for us is to remind us that we are the co-creator. So the co-creator, meaning the God source, is not going to say, hey, don't wreck your world. Hey, don't blow things up. Hey, don't do that because we have free will choice. It is just one of the choices. It's one of the experiences. So when we're sitting here bitching and complaining about how awful everything is, it's almost a shame on us, right? I mean, this is
Mhm.
actual reality of a co-creation. So let's get our stuff together and remind ourselves of how powerful we truly are. And then let's really extend the invitation to everyone listening in that, oh, I'm just one little mom in White Bear Lake. I'm not going to make any difference if I think this or not. Yes, you are, because your vibrational frequency is going to go out into that collective field, and every single drop in that bucket changes what's happening in the field. And so don't ever underestimate how powerful your thoughts and your words and your vibrations and especially your actions are, because it is a co-creation in a holographic way. One little drop is the all. And I think that self-responsibility is something all of us have to step into right now.
Yeah, I
Right?
agree. It's like you said, it's very interesting to listen to those around you. And the fear factor that comes out in some of this is just overwhelming. Um, where it, I honestly, we go through this every 4 years. I hate
Right?
our country. There's all kinds of things that come up with every election. So, you just, for me, I have done my best to think positively. There's so many great things going on in around us that do not get highlighted on the media necessarily and do not get published out there. So look for those things. Look for
Mhm.
the things that are good and that bring more heartwarming light. You acknowledge and know what's going on around you, but
Mhm.
the focus on the negative and doomsday is, yeah, it's not where we should be in all of this. That's for sure, as a co-creator. I
And
said
I
should,
think it's
but
important also to understand, and I'm glad I pulled a so-called ascended master out of this, is that there are beings that are in other dimensional fields and frequencies that are part of our co-creation and our existence. And they do have knowledge, and that is a resource that we can use and send our concerns, our cares, our worries to that level as well as to the God source, because these were beings that were in human form, and a lot of them did go through time periods where things didn't go so well, right? And so there is an understanding in the human meat and bone body to understand fears about being sick or old or all of that. There is mental frames that have memory and understanding of fears in the mind area. There's emotions that have run through these ascended beings just like us because they were human. I mean, all of these levels of our auric field have been traversed and or experienced by these beings. And so oftentimes we feel somebody doesn't understand. Well, they do, they can.
Mhm.
And look into them because ascended masters are very, very powerful for us to hand off our fears, our worries, our dreams, our hopes to because they've done it, right? They've done
Yeah,
it. And
yeah,
they're not gone. They're just in a different frequency. So it's just a thought, if you take it or leave it, in terms of another resource for us to use. So
yeah.
cool.
No, I agree. That's a great card for right now, for
Good.
sure. Okay, so back to consistency.
Cool.
Earthly meaning. Your habits make you what you are. Stay committed to your goal. Steady progress will get results. It can take a lifetime to be an overnight success, so there's no rush to burn yourself out. Being consistent in your words and actions builds a reliable platform. An occasional show of kindness does not make someone kind. Love is dependable. Be or turn to someone you can count on. The spiritual meaning, your past has helped shape your present. The present is helping to shape your tomorrow. Acts of love, hope, and mindfulness shed light on the past, transform the present, and invite brighter tomorrows. The seeds you plant today will blossom and bear fruit. Positive thoughts and actions plant a blessed future. Wait for illumination, it will come.
Mhm.
Wowza. That so fits with what you were just doing with your card.
Mhm.
Insight. Every 24 hours, our planet makes a full rotation on its axis. In this time, it travels over 2.5 million kilometers in orbit around the sun. It will have experienced over 8 million lightning strikes, 7 earthquakes, and 18,000 storms.
Mhm.
Around 353,000 humans will take their first breath. 18 million will share a birthday, and 151,000 will exhale for the last time. New species are discovered, others become extinct. Still the world turns. We can depend on the dawn to break through even the darkest of nights. Awaken from darkness, watch a baby day be born, baby a day be born. How about two in a day? Just kidding. Know there are always hope, always love, always a road to peace. One small step after another can take you just about anywhere.
Wow.
This totally built on what you just had for your card.
But
To
those
look at,
statistics are astounding.
right. Yeah. I mean, 353,000 will take their first breath, and 151,000 will take their last.
That's that's mind-boggling.
And the world keeps turning. Yeah. So
Wow.
I mean, this with what you have pulled, um, it and what we were just talking about with your card is, changing habits and changing like habits. Maybe not watch as much media at certain times of the day or certain, whatever. But like when you look at changing your habits and then work on internally, going more neutral around some of these things and deciding for yourself what is meaningful and what's not.
Mhm.
Um, but also coming up with a different perspective and more of a positive outlook. And that, as the co-creator, which we were just talking about, is going to make a difference for the holistic, the one.
Mhm.
And so I think this card is really great to build on top of what you already pulled, and it's so appropriate for right now.
And I
Um,
think we need to give the planet a little bit of credit. I mean, when you read that card,
mhm,
that the planet, Mother Earth itself, is a living, breathing entity of God's source. It's an embodied entity with consciousness that also is participatory. So we've got these ascended masters that are, vibrating in like what we would call the fourth and fifth dimension, and meaning that they're not here in our time space continuum, but they are present for knowledge and guidance, etc. But the planetary system that's vibrating and created in our first dimension, we're standing in it, it's in our bodies as well. We're part of a planet that has a consciousness knowing.
mhm.
It's volcanoing because it's supposed to. I don't even know if that's a word, volcanoing. It's erupting when it's supposed to. It's building and destroying all day long because it's supposed to. And we oftentimes think about natural disasters are so horrible and awful. Yes, they are, but are they? Because the earth itself also is building and rebuilding by destroying. So we want to really realize that we're not the only ones that are co-creating here. The animals are, the earth, wind, water, fire is, the planetary consciousness is, all of the beings on it, and then all of the beings beyond us. And so when we look at this biggest scope, oftentimes I sit there and I say, we are co-creating it, but we're also having an awful lot of help that we don't think about,
Yeah, just
right?
looking at the beautiful picture of the sun, the moon, drives the tides. The sun also drives energy and with all the solar flares and the different things, but also the tides, like they are together in creating a lot of what Mother Earth is actually doing with her water sources. And then you have the trees, like you said, the planetary, the planets and but then it also the aquatic, the birds, the animals, captured all of that in here. Like,
And they're part of the system. And so when we, feel so commanded or controlled or unempowered by our governments or our leadership or our, money situation or our job situation, it's pretty easy to actually step out into nature and see that you're not the only thing on this planet. There
mhm,
is trees that are commanding presence. There's water and air and fire every single day of our lives that's commanding presence and participation, and we don't give it any credit. And I
right.
think it's really important for us to find our space in here that is notching us down quite a bit in terms of like how important we are, because of course we're important, but isn't everything,
Mhm.
right? I mean, the value systems are so screwed up in our head. And it is important for us to listen to the water or listen to the birds or learn from the trees or. And so expanding your horizons. And again, I do my best not to be judgmental, but boy, do I suck at it sometimes when I look at people and I'm like, you don't even like stop and look at a tree. I mean, don't you understand that the tree's just as important here on this planet as you are? And yeah, I'm just really
Right.
find myself frustrated.
Well, and I love that you stopped by our house in the cities with your granddaughter, and we went on the deck, and she immediately ran to the tree right off our deck.
Did you? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I was
Yeah.
like, that's awesome. It's
Yeah.
just, from children and acknowledging what's around. And they're so just watching her in the yard and all the things she was looking at. And like we get so focused on,
Mhm.
all the icky and things that aren't going right that we forget to look around.
Right. And what 3-year-old cares about tariffs, but they're
Yeah.
out on the dock, watching the turtle underneath that nobody sees. And so we can learn from each other, and we certainly can learn from children. And when we're in that awe, and that joy and that flow, it is so much easier to find, it's not my favorite word, but to find hope.
Yeah.
To find hope and create what we want versus,
Yeah.
not. I mean, all we do is sit around and bitch about everything we don't want. That law of attraction is like, dude, change your
Right.
focus.
Well, and I think two other points with the hope doesn't by it stand great by itself. I think that's why it's a hard word
Yeah.
sometimes. It needs trust and faith too. I believe that you give that over, like you said earlier, because you have helpers. You
Yeah.
know, you're surrounded by helpers, and so it's important to work with them and hand over what isn't sitting well with yourself, you know.
Yeah, I think I have a little trouble with hope because it feels willy-nilly out there that it's floating around. And it does. It takes trust and it takes our action and it takes our follow through. And I think that's when I feel better about that word.
Yeah.
And that is part of the process. You don't just get to stick it out there and just wait for something to come and save you. That's that whole savior program that drives me nuts in terms of, yeah, we can be saved and helped by all of these beings that don't exist
Hmm.
in our so-called three-dimensional world, but we also we need to command that, right? I mean, it's part
Right.
of our command, it's part of our gratitude, it's part of our compassion and joy. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I believe that it's great to pull cards like this. That's why we did that podcast a couple weeks ago in terms of if you're feeling down, one little read like this can give you an incredibly different perspective. And that's why it's fun for us to do these periodically in terms of what's happening right now. So I love both of them and I love how they synergize, but I really think yours is cool in that consistency is also something we want to look at and be grateful for in nature because we as humans go all over the board. But nature is consistent. Every fall, the leaves shut down and rebirth every single time. And we're in such a great state for that. You know, we watch them go dormant. We watch them rebirth. We watch the consistency of nature. It is always there. The sun always is coming up. The moon is going to be in a cycle, etc. The consistency can help us when we are feeling out of control or unsafe. The consistency of nature itself is something that is reliable, and yet we can get our ass kicked in 24 hours with something like a tornado or a hurricane, but then again, it's part of the process. So we can learn so much from that kind of a card. I think that that's really
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah, I think it's a gorgeous and really good message in the card. But I also that was great that you brought forward the master, one of the masters, because you forget that they're there, that
Yeah.
they're there to help you and help you get through things. And we have to
And they
tap.
were human. I mean, a tree has never been human, an alien's never been human. You know, oftentimes as a galactic worker, I get frustrated because my guidance gets frustrated with, we don't know how your body works. I don't get that. We haven't been a human body, but yet a ascended master, most all of them have been a human on the planet. And that again is why I think we can relate to them and feel like, oh, if I release this to so and so, they've felt it, they've done it, they've encountered it, they've at least known about it, etc. And I think that we forget about them as a support system.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
important.
Hmm.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well, that was kind of fun. Take
that's
take it
fine.
or leave it. Here, I'll give you one last shot. You give me yours. He's pretty cute. Yep. Nice. I love it. All right. Well, take what resonates, everybody. Toss what doesn't. Maybe pick a card for yourself and enjoy, paradigm shifting, like expand your consciousness on what's going on out there. Don't fall for all of the illusions. So maybe hit the subscribe and share and thumbs up and leave a note.
Yeah, we love the notes.
Thanks for listening. Cosmic Hugs.
Goodbye.